Hey everyone, my name is Jeremiah of Team 4, along with Raul, Andrew, and DeQuanda, and today we're going to be presenting on Fortune 500 company Truist Financial, one of the largest regional banking companies in the United States. The topics that will be presented today will be a review of Truist formation, a brief discussion of the company's organizational structure, a look at some of their key objectives and critical success factors, a SWOT analysis performed by our group. We'll also explore Truist products and services, and we'll examine their company strategy and financial status. First, I will briefly discuss the rather extensive history of Truist. To get to where we are today, you need to know about three other companies. The first is Branch Banking and Trust Company, also known as BB&T. In 1872, Alpheus Branch and Thomas Jefferson Hadley formed a private banking firm together, Branch and Hadley. In 1887, Branch bought out Hadley's share and the company became Branch and Company Bankers. In 1889, a group of men, including Thomas Jefferson Hadley, obtained a charter to operate the company with Branch. This company became BB&T. The next company is SunTrust. In 1891, Commercial Traveler Savings Bank is renamed to Trust Company of Georgia after receiving its charter from the Georgia General Assembly. Robinson Humphrey Company Municipal Bond Shop is then formed in 1894. In Orlando, Florida, People's National Bank is formed in 1911 and then becomes First National Bank at Orlando after being reorganized in 1934. Several Orlando area banks then decide to merge in 1973 to become Sun Banks Incorporated of Orlando. In 1984, Trust Company of Georgia and Sun Banks of Orlando merged to form SunTrust. And finally, in 2001, SunTrust acquires Atlanta-based Robinson and Humphrey Bond Company. The last of the big three companies comprising its Truist predecessors is Southern National Bank. The Bank of Lumberton is founded in North Carolina in 1897. After being restructured in 1859, the Bank of Lumberton is then renamed Southern National Bank. Between 1979 and 1993, Southern National Bank makes numerous acquisitions of banks across the Carolinas. In 1995, Southern National Bank merges with BB&T to form Southern National Corporation. The banking subsidiaries remained BB&T. However, the parent company was Southern National Corporation. In 1997, Southern National Corporation then changes its name to the BB&T Corporation. And most recently, in 2019, SunTrust and BB&T agreed to a merger to become Truist Financial. So in a quick recap, Southern National Bank plus BB&T plus SunTrust gives us the Truist that we know today. Truist operates largely in the southeastern and Atlantic coastal states, as you can probably see, supported through all of the areas in the southeast and the Carolinas and Florida throughout the numerous acquisitions and mergers. Truist is headquartered in Charlotte, North Carolina, and does business in 17 states and Washington, D.C. It's organized into 14 community banking regions with over 1,900 branches, 2,900 ATMs, and has over $520 billion in total assets. They offer a wide variety of banking and wealth management products and services that will be discussed in more detail later in this presentation. Truist is organized with a functional structure made up of many different departments. William Rogers Jr., Truist CEO, also operates as the chairman of the board. Truist is then further organized into a regional structure with 14 community banking regions as previously mentioned. Each region is led by a regional president, whose photos you can see here.
I'm DeQuanda Smith, Upon review of the key objectives and critical success factors for Truist, we found several unique characteristics that include a strong regional presence in the Sunbelt region, which provides a competitive advantage, focus on client experience through a blend of human interaction and technology, emphasis on culture such as care, trust, and teamwork, diverse product offerings to cater to a wide range of customer needs, investment in technology to enhance efficiency, improve customer experience, and drive innovation. There are also factors contributing to their success, and those include merger synergies, the combination of BB&T and SunTrust, economic growth in core markets with areas experiencing robust economic expansion, customer-centric approach by prioritizing customer needs and satisfaction, financial stability in that Truist maintains a strong capital position and has demonstrated resilience during economic challenges, and finally, talent development. The bank invests in its employees through training and developmental programs, fostering a high-performing workforce. So we know that a SWOT analysis is a framework used in a business's strategic planning to evaluate its competitive positioning in the marketplace. SWOT focuses on four main areas: the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of a company. For Truist, we've identified the strengths to include extensive branch network, diverse product offerings, strong financial positions, technical investment, and merger synergies. Another thing that we must look at when evaluating SWOT are the weaknesses, and those include integration challenges, economic dependence, regulatory compliance, and brand recognition. And then we move on to opportunities, which under that umbrella are the digital transformations, expansion into new markets, financial technology partnerships, and wealth management growth. And finally, we come to the threats of the SWOT puzzle, and those are intense competition. The bank industry is highly competitive. Economic turndowns, where economic recessions can lead to increased loan defaults and reduced revenue for Truist. There are cybersecurity risks and regulatory changes that often leads to changes in bank regulations, and those things can impact Truist's business model and profitability.
Moving on to Truist products and services. I have grouped the company's offerings into four categories: personal, small business, wealth, and commercial, corporate, and institutional. I won't go into each one of the subcategories, but as you can see, the company provides your standard services you are looking for as an individual, such as checking and savings accounts, and loans and mortgages. For small business, important things such as credit cards, loans, and insurance. For wealth building, investing in retirement and financial planning. And then for our last category, treasury and payments and business insurance. So pretty robust number of offerings and services for the company. For Truist company strategy, I do get a sense that they are trying to instill a culture of teamwork and working together to make things happen. I like to emphasize the word care in this section, as I believe it is intentionally selected to make the audience perceive it is not enough to do things, but also being intentional with your actions. Again, a lot of key words like community and together are littered throughout these sections and focused on others rather than individuals. I really like what they're putting out there, which tells me they're people focused and would be curious to know for those who work or do business with the company if they can confirm this culture.
All right, up next, let's take a look at Truist's financial information. The first item of business that we have is their income statement. Now, this is pulled from their 10-K filing with the SEC for the year ending December 31st, 2023. One thing that is glaringly obvious that's an issue is their net income for 2023 with a loss of $1 billion just about. Now, that is of course cause for concern, but the main issue, or the main reason that this occurred, is they had a write-off of $6 billion in goodwill for 2023, which is an intangible asset. And so functionally, in terms of, revenue coming in, Truist gained $5 billion. It was just that write-off that then affected the balance sheet and obviously affected their net income. Up next, let's take a look at their balance sheet, also from their 10K. Taking a look at Truist's balance sheet, also from the 10K for 2023, one thing of note is seeing that their total assets did decline. Now, if you haven't looked at a bank's 10K or financial statements before, there's a few interesting line items that you wouldn't find at a conventional product-focused company. One of those things is your loans and leases. That one decreased by about $13 billion from 2022, showing almost a restructuring of the focus of how Truist wants to have cash be coming in. And one concern with loans and leases is, of course, something that we saw in 2009 with the housing crisis. Those loans and leases could default. And there's often conversations about college debt specifically being a bubble. So taking a look at those loans and leases and how heavily that is carrying their net assets can be a cause for concern. But again, they're a bank. This is the main way that they make their money. And then another thing that's really important to take a look at is their leverage. So looking at their total shareholders' equity of about $60 billion versus their total liabilities of $476 billion, that's a pretty hefty ratio of about mid 80%, where a lot of their funding is coming from debt and taking on debt, which is always another concern. So it is common practice for banks to be funded by debt and leveraged by debt. However, it's always something to be concerned about. And with interest rates being changed as we are shifting away from the COVID interest rates and then trying to deplete inflation and cool those flames, interest rates are going to be changing, which is going to affect all of those loans. It'll affect how enticing those loans are to people and if they're going to refinance loans. So that's going to be something that's very important to look at going forward in Truist's future for the next few years. Now, rounding out our financial information, there's just a few predictions, and we should look at their stock price as well. So there's an estimated revenue of about $20.93 billion for year-end 2025 for Truist, which puts them at about a 3.9% sales growth, which isn't too shabby at all. It's movement in the right direction. As of today, which is July 28th, 2024, their stock price is $43.63, and there is an estimate of a high of $47 in July 2025. When I was looking on Yahoo Finance, they listed 29 analysts who had given their opinion on the stock, and 0 of the analysts said that Truist is a sell right now. Most of them said that it was a hold, but there were a few that had it at a buy and a strong buy, showing that they have trust in Truist. So even though I just discussed with their balance sheet some concerns, especially with interest rates moving and whatnot, it seems that the analysts believe that the banking industry will still be fairly solid. And then a massive success for them is that their stock has increased 36.34% from July 28, 2023. Now, it's been a fairly hot bullish market during that time, but when reflecting on the financial sector as a whole, which obviously Truist is a part of, the financial services sector has increased by 21.33%, also from July 28, 2023, showing that Truist is outperforming their rivals. And we're seeing that just functionally with this rapid growth that they have, focusing on mergers and acquisitions, it seems like Truist has almost like an assimilation focus when it comes to other companies, trying to pick up these smaller branches of banks and then turning them into the Truist name. And it seems to have been working well so far, and analysts believe that Truist will continue.
So, in conclusion, Truist Bank is a large commercial bank formed in 2019 through the merger of BB&T and SunTrust banks. It is headquartered in Charlotte, North Carolina, and offers a wide range of financial products and services, as you can see below. As of June 2024, Truist has a total assets of $520 billion and serves over 15 million clients across the United States. It operates in 2,781 branches in 15 states and Washington, D.C. And of course, their mission is that they're committed to inspiring and building better lives and communities, and has a strong focus on diversity, inclusion, and equity. Thank you so much for listening in on our company overview of Truist Bank. We hope everyone was able to gain some valuable insights into the company. And again, thank you for letting us share our presentation. Thank you so much.